I'm not on defense.
And I'll give him that latitude. First of all, Jagero, the assertion that some people are paid and they did not get their money back, that is narrative formulation, because anything that does not have a factual basis, that's narrative formulation. Because we cannot sit and now, Joachim wants to convince us that there is some privileged information that he has from somewhere. But then on the subject that he raises, which is fundamental, is the subject of agents. And it's important for us to have this conversation, because even Azimio was blamed on the account of agents during the last election. First of all, it's important to understand, and our viewer needs to understand, that it is not a requirement for a candidate to have agents in an election. It is the whole reason why there are billions of shillings that is spent on IEBC. The chief agent of every person who is in the election should actually, ideally, be IEBC. So this idea that everyone must, that is used to even bully...
Can you contextualize that a little bit for the audience? Because I don't understand what you mean by that.
This is what I mean, Jagero. Today in Parliament, there is a budget that we are passing for IEBC.
Which includes 1.1 billion for meals.
Exactly.
On the election day.
Exactly. Which is being contested within somewhere in Parliament. But that's subject from my point of discussion is there is money that the taxpayer gives IEBC
60 billion
to conduct elections. What that means is that when Jagero and Joachim are candidates in that election,
let's say we are in a one constituency.
Yes. Joachim and Jagero should only do one job: convince the voter to come out and vote for them. The mandate and responsibility of counting these votes is given to IEBC. And the reason we give them this money is because we've entrusted them that they should be able to count and give us the correct results. We should not be able to vilify Joachim because he did not have agents. Because that is the conversation that is also being used to bully young people, so that young people avoid participating in elections under the guise that election is very expensive. So we must first of all put the blame where it is, that IEBC should do their work. That is number one. And secondly, when it comes to, again, the subject of when you're talking about that because of lack of agents, therefore some votes got stolen. I'll take you back to the 2013 scenario. Is it 2013 or 2017 when we had a repeat election? 2017. When we had a repeat election. Who came first in that repeat election? It was President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
Who came second?
Raila, I think.
It was Raila Odinga.
Because he didn't run.
Who came third?
Third, I don't know.
Third was the Third Way Alliance.
Actually, from the name, Third Way Alliance.
The Third Way Alliance guy came third. And then I move you fast forward. Who was running in that election? It was President Uhuru Kenyatta and Ekuru Okot. Raila Odinga was not running. Okay? But Raila Odinga still defeated Ekuru Okot, who was running and therefore had agents. Okay? That essentially is to tell you, Jagero, that even if we are talking about rigging and whatever, the first thing you need before you do anything else is you must have the people who will vote for you. It cannot be a situation whereby, Jagero, someone cannot get 7,000 votes more than you, and then you want to sit and convince the people that your votes were not counted because you did not have agents. We would even be having 5,000 people protesting and saying we voted for you. So the truth is that trying to make the recent by-election a question of someone rigged election is neither here nor there. It is just wishful imagination and wishful thinking, and it's a waste of time, because, you know, sometimes when you want to make yourself feel nice about, sometimes you are in a big problem, but you also want to make yourself feel nice. And that's why I really excuse opposition when they start saying, you know, election was rigged. You know, we didn't even know the election was there. But the truth is that the only way you are able to deal with an election and the formula of winning an election is outside there, and it's black and white. He who does the work, he who is able to mobilize the vote, he who is able to get out the vote, he who is able to convince the people, that is the person who will win the election. Any other formula will actually not work. The problem is, most of this opposition is wasting a lot of time on the formula of 1, census of tribes, and 2, no plan. So when you don't have a plan, you are busy struggling with census of tribes and also struggling with what I call Euphoriasm. political euphoria, whereby you go to places and then you call for crowds. One thing is true, Jagero, today. All politicians in Kenya have crowds. All of them. They will call a meeting and they will have a crowd. All of them. Raila Odinga was the master of it all. But he never became president because it was political euphoriaism. The only time that we can conclusively say that Raila Odinga became president is in the election of 2007. That is the time that we can convincingly and conclusively say that Raila Odinga won the presidency. So political euphoriaism and sentimentalism, like the things itching him now, are sentimentalism.